The elementary hand is one of the most distinct and action-driven hand types in palmistry. It is broad, thick, and muscular, with short, stiff fingers and a solid palm structure. People with this hand type rely on instinct rather than deep analysis, making them quick decision-makers who prefer action over hesitation. They are grounded, strong-willed, and physically capable, often excelling in roles that require stamina, endurance, and discipline. This is why hunters, fighters, warriors, and even assassins often have elementary hands, particularly the muscular, hard, or prominent knuckle variations. People with elementary hands have a strong survival instinct and natural aggression, making them highly effective in combat, physical labor, and high-pressure situations. Unlike people with more delicate or intellectual hands, they do not spend time overanalyzing. They act quickly, efficiently, and with force when necessary. This makes them perfect for jobs that demand immediate action, such as military, law enforcement, security, hunting, and professional fighting. They are direct, instinctive, and action-driven. Their thinking is straightforward, and they don't waste time overthinking problems. Their behavior is practical, aggressive when needed, and physically strong. They communicate in a brief and no-nonsense way, and when it comes to solving problems, they prefer hands-on solutions over abstract strategies. Their emotions don't slow them down. They act first and reflect later. Because of this, people with elementary hands have key strengths. They have quick reflexes and reaction-based thinking, making them ideal for combat and survival. They possess strong physical endurance, helping them excel in physically demanding roles. They rely on gut feelings and instincts, giving them an advantage in high-pressure situations. Their discipline and hard work make them reliable in structured environments. Most importantly, they don't let emotions get in the way of their decisions. However, these strengths also come with weaknesses. They can be impulsive, acting too quickly without thinking about the long-term consequences. Their short temper and aggression can lead to conflict, making them difficult to work with in emotional situations. They tend to resist change, preferring structure and routine rather than adapting to new ideas. Their practical action-based thinking makes it hard for them to engage in abstract thought, creativity, or deep emotional reflection. Relationships can also be challenging, as they struggle to express emotions or understand complex feelings. Many hunters, fighters, and professional assassins are believed to have elementary hands due to their natural physical and mental abilities. These individuals excel in environments that require fast reflexes, endurance, and the ability to act without hesitation. Some of the most common variations of elementary hands seen in these professions include the hard, coarse elementary hand, which is found in aggressive fighters, mercenaries, and traditional hunters who rely on brute force and endurance. The muscular elementary hand, which is seen in disciplined warriors, trained assassins, and elite soldiers who combine strength with control. The elementary hand with prominent knuckles, which is associated with martial artists and street fighters who rely on reflexes and force. And the elementary hand with more lines, which is found in strategic assassins, snipers, and tactical hunters who balance action with planning. These individuals thrive in combat, hunting, law enforcement, and military professions where physical ability, quick decision-making, and aggression are necessary. While their instinct-driven nature makes them dangerous in combat, it also means they can struggle in emotional and intellectual environments that require patience and deep thought. People with elementary hands are commonly found in physical, hands-on professions where strength, endurance, and discipline are key. Some common examples include assassins and special forces, who require quick reflexes, endurance, and mental focus. Athletes and fighters, who use physical strength and aggression to win. Mechanics and factory workers, who thrive in structured, physical environments. Military and security personnel, who need discipline, control, and reaction speed. And construction and laborers, who excel in physically demanding repetitive work. The elementary hand represents raw strength, instinct, and survival-driven decision-making. These individuals are fighters, workers, and doers, built for action rather than abstract thought. Whether found in the battlefield, hunting grounds, or high-stakes professions, their hands reflect their ability to endure, act decisively, and thrive under pressure. However, while their practical and action-driven nature is a great strength, they must learn patience, emotional intelligence, and adaptability to succeed beyond their natural instincts. People with elementary hands are often associated with basic physical needs: food, sex, and alcohol, because of their instinct-driven nature. Unlike deep thinkers who analyze every decision, they focus on what is immediately necessary for survival and enjoyment. Their physical strength, endurance, and direct thinking style make them highly practical, hands-on individuals, meaning they seek out what keeps them strong and satisfied in the present moment. While this can make them appear indulgent or pleasure-seeking, it is really just a reflection of their grounded, action-oriented personality. They don't dwell on complex emotions or deep philosophical questions. They prefer to experience life through action rather than thought. However, while they do enjoy physical pleasures, not all elementary hand individuals are reckless or impulsive. Many are highly disciplined in structured environments, such as the military, law enforcement, sports, and physically demanding jobs. These individuals understand the importance of control and responsibility, even if they enjoy the occasional indulgence. Their strong connection to routine and practical living helps them stay focused and hardworking, proving that their desire for simple pleasures does not mean they lack discipline or ambition. Those with muscular elementary hands or more lines on their palms often balance their physical instincts with strategic thinking and control, making them capable of long-term planning and commitment. At their core, elementary hand individuals are survivors. They do what feels natural and effective, and this often means prioritizing physical comfort, social enjoyment, and straightforward problem-solving. However, this does not mean they are incapable of deep thought, emotional growth, or higher goals. It simply means they express themselves differently than intellectual or philosophical individuals. When properly balanced, their love for life's pleasures can be a source of strength and motivation, rather than excess. The key is understanding that their direct, physically driven mindset is not a weakness. It is their way of navigating the world, thriving in action rather than overthinking life's complexities. When depression manifests in elementary hand types. Unlike deep thinkers, who experience depression through overthinking, isolation, or existential dread, individuals with elementary hands tend to express their struggles through physical and behavioral changes rather than emotional introspection. They are not naturally inclined to verbalize their emotions, making it harder for others to recognize their pain. Instead of openly discussing their struggles, they may become irritable, withdrawn, or reckless, often reacting through action rather than words. Because they don't naturally reflect on their emotions, they may ignore early signs of distress until it escalates into frustration, aggression, or complete physical burnout. Without an outlet for their emotions, their internal struggles can manifest in short tempers, risky behaviors, or a sudden loss of motivation in daily tasks. For them, depression is not about dwelling on thoughts. It is about losing the drive to act, move, and engage with life. Recognizing these signs early and channeling their energy into structured routines, physical activity, and practical problem-solving can help prevent their struggles from turning into deeper emotional or physical exhaustion. When struggling with depression, elementary hand individuals often lose motivation for action-based tasks. They may stop engaging in their usual routines, neglect their responsibilities, or avoid physical activities they once enjoyed. Because their mental state is closely linked to physical engagement, inactivity can worsen their emotional struggles. Some may turn to substance use, overeating, or reckless behavior as a distraction, believing that temporary indulgence will help them escape their inner turmoil. Others may suppress their emotions entirely, leading to emotional numbness and disconnection from relationships. Unlike deep thinkers, elementary hand individuals rarely talk about their emotions openly, making it essential to observe changes in their physical behavior, social interactions, and energy levels. If they become more aggressive, detached, or engage in risky behavior, it may be a sign of underlying depression. The best way for them to cope is through structured routines, physical activity, and practical problem-solving rather than deep emotional discussions. They heal through action, movement, and a sense of purpose, not through overanalyzing their emotions. Helping them engage in sports, physical work, or hands-on tasks can gradually bring them out of their depressive state, restoring their natural energy and focus. The hard, coarse elementary hand is easy to recognize. It is big, thick, and strong. The fingers are short and stiff, and the skin feels rough and hard. It is not a soft or delicate hand. It looks like it belongs to someone who works with their hands every day. The knuckles are large and stand out, making the hand look even stronger. The nails are broad and may be uneven or slightly worn down. The fingers do not bend easily, and the palm is wide and firm. This type of hand is often seen in people who do physical work. It does not mean they are only laborers. Many farmers, construction workers, athletes, and even military personnel have this kind of hand. These people rely on their strength more than fine skills. They are practical and do not overthink things. They believe in action rather than long discussions. If something needs to be done, they do it without hesitation. The lines on the palm are not too many. The main lines are deep and bold, but there are no small, delicate lines like in hands that belong to very emotional or artistic people. This means the person is straightforward and does not get lost in thoughts or emotions. They focus on results. They like simple and clear instructions and prefer to work rather than sit and plan for too long. This is a hand of hard work, determination, and physical endurance. It shows that the person has been through challenges and kept going. If you see a hand that is large, thick, and rough, with short fingers and strong knuckles, you are looking at a hard, coarse elementary hand. It is the hand of someone who does not hesitate, does not complain, and keeps moving forward. The soft elementary hand. At first glance, the soft elementary hand carries a sense of quiet strength. It's a powerful hand, broad and muscular, with a palm that feels weighty and grounded, as if built for endurance. But unlike its rougher counterpart, the hard elementary hand, this one tells a different story. The fingers are short and thick, just as we expect from an elementary type. They appear strong, sturdy, almost like columns supporting a heavy structure. But here's where the distinction begins. The skin. It's smoother to the eye and softer to the touch, lacking the calluses and rugged texture of a hand worn down by relentless labor. This hand may still work, but it does so in bursts, favoring strength over repetition, power over finesse. The knuckles remain prominent, a sign of its physical nature, but they don't bulge aggressively. The fingers show slight flexibility, more than you'd expect. They're not stiff or locked, there's movement here, an ease that hints at occasional creativity or emotional awareness peeking through a practical personality. Even the nails, though broad and strong, are well maintained. They're clean, shaped with care, maybe even trimmed regularly, showing that while this hand belongs to someone grounded and earthy, they haven't forgotten about self-respect and presentation. In palmistry, the soft elementary hand belongs to someone with a basic practical mindset, yet not entirely lacking refinement. These individuals are doers. They live in the physical world. Their actions are instinctive and solid, and while they may not chase intellectual pursuits, they understand the value of rest, comfort, and care. Their softness does not make them weak, it makes them human. Elementary hand with prominent knuckles. In palmistry, the elementary hand is a sign of strength, action, and practicality. But when the knuckles are more prominent, the meaning changes. Let's explore what this hand type reveals about personality and profession. The first thing to notice about this hand is the knuckles. They are large and stand out, even when the hand is relaxed. When making a fist, they become even more pronounced. The skin around them may stretch, creating deep creases. This gives the hand a rugged, strong appearance. People with this hand type are physically resilient and full of energy. They rely on action rather than words. This hand often belongs to individuals who are quick to react and have strong endurance. However, they may also have a short temper and act impulsively. This hand type is commonly found in those who use their strength and endurance in their work. Fighters, wrestlers, bodybuilders, and even security personnel often have hands with prominent knuckles. Their profession requires them to use force, speed, and power. A hand with prominent knuckles tells a story of power, resilience, and quick action. It is a hand built for strength and survival. If you or someone you know has this hand type, they likely have a determined and forceful personality. Elementary hand with longer fingers. Unlike the typical elementary hand, which has short, stiff fingers, this version features slightly longer fingers while keeping the thick, broad palm. The hand is still muscular and strong, but the proportions give it a more balanced look. The longer fingers indicate a better grip, more control, and increased flexibility, making it different from the rigid structure of the classic elementary hand. People with this hand type show more attention to detail than those with a standard elementary hand. While they still rely on strength, they are more adaptable, precise, and patient in their work. This slight change in structure means they are not just action-driven but also focused on accuracy. They prefer working with their hands, but they do it with skill rather than pure force. This hand type is commonly found in craftsmen, factory workers, and technicians. People who need strength but also attention to detail. Their hands are built for controlled, steady work, where both endurance and precision are required. A slight difference in finger length changes everything. The elementary hand with longer fingers combines strength with precision and adaptability. Elementary hand with fewer lines. The most striking feature of this hand is the lack of fine lines. The palm is often smooth, with only the major lines visible. The headline and heartline tend to be short and straight, showing direct thinking and controlled emotions. The lifeline is bold but not deeply curved, meaning the person has stamina but doesn't dwell too much on the past. People with this hand type are not emotionally complex. They see the world in simple, clear terms. No overthinking, no unnecessary stress. They are direct, focused, and prefer action over endless discussion. They do what needs to be done, without second-guessing themselves. While they may not be deeply philosophical or imaginative, they are reliable and efficient. A palm with fewer lines means a mind that is clear, direct, and practical. If you or someone you know has this hand, they are likely built for action, not overanalysis. Elementary hand with more lines. The elementary hand is known for its strength and practicality. But what happens when it has more lines than usual? This variation, known as the elementary hand with a slightly complex palm, adds a layer of depth to the traditional hand type. Let's explore what this means. Unlike the classic elementary hand, which has very few lines, this version features more markings on the palm. These extra lines are still deep and bold, not fine or delicate like those seen on an artistic or philosophical hand. The extra lines give the hand a more active and energetic look, suggesting a person who is always busy, thinking, and moving. This hand type belongs to individuals who are more emotionally aware than those with a standard elementary hand. While still action-oriented, they think while they work and may have a sense of strategy and planning in their daily tasks. They don't just react, they assess situations and adjust their actions accordingly. You'll often find this hand type in drivers, mechanics, and skilled workers. Those who use their hands actively but also need quick thinking and problem-solving. They are practical but not purely instinct-driven. They analyze their environment while getting things done. Let's summarize what we learned. Elementary hand and its variations. The elementary hand is one of the strongest and most action-driven hand types in palmistry. It belongs to individuals who prefer instinct over analysis, action over hesitation, and practicality over complexity. However, even within this robust hand type, there are a number of key variations, each bringing subtle but meaningful differences in thinking patterns, behavior, strengths, and weaknesses. Some variations, like the soft elementary hand, add flexibility and patience, making the person more adaptable to skilled work. Others, like the hard, coarse elementary hand, maximize endurance and physical toughness, making them ideal for demanding, hands-on professions. The muscular elementary hand refines raw strength into controlled power, while the elementary hand with longer fingers introduces a balance between precision and action. Meanwhile, hands like the elementary hand with prominent knuckles indicate aggression, force, and a natural inclination for endurance-based tasks. In contrast, the elementary hand with fewer lines reveals a direct, results-oriented personality, free from unnecessary emotions or deep philosophical thought. Those with the elementary hand with more lines think while they act, bringing a problem-solving mindset to their practical work. Finally, the mixed elementary hand showcases versatility and adaptability, blending multiple traits to navigate different tasks efficiently. Understanding these variations within the elementary hand type helps us see how small structural differences influence personality, behavior, and career strengths. Whether someone is a fighter, a craftsman, a technician, or a leader, their hands provide insight into how they engage with the world and approach problem-solving. However, this information should be used as a tool for understanding and connecting with people, not as a way to stereotype them. A person's life experiences, upbringing, education, and personal choices all play a significant role in shaping who they truly are. No hand type is better or worse. Each serves as a unique reflection of individual strengths and tendencies, but it does not define a person entirely. So, how can we use this knowledge? Recognizing an elementary hand type is not about putting people into categories, but about understanding their natural strengths and tendencies. When we know how someone instinctively approaches life, we can connect with them better, support their growth, and communicate in ways that resonate with them. One of the most important applications of this understanding is in education and skill development. Many elementary hand individuals struggle in traditional learning environments, not because they lack intelligence, but because the system doesn't align with how they naturally absorb information. They are doers, not passive learners, which means they need learning methods that engage movement, real-world application, and hands-on experiences rather than long lectures or theoretical reading. By adapting education to their strengths, we can help them stay engaged, build confidence, and succeed in both academics and professional growth. Whether it's integrating movement into learning, using real-world applications, or providing hands-on experiences, these adjustments unlock their potential rather than leaving them behind. And for adults who may have struggled with traditional schooling in the past, it's never too late to reignite learning in a way that works for them. Whether it's through podcasts while working, instructional videos, or skill-based training. Let's look at few examples. For many people, history is just dates and names in a book, a subject taught through long lectures and heavy reading. But for those with elementary hands, history shouldn't be something they read, it should be something they experience. Sitting still for hours in a classroom, memorizing facts, and following written timelines? That's not how their minds work. Once we understand how the elementary hand individual learns, something else becomes clear. Many of them didn't end up in labor jobs because they lacked intelligence. Often, it's because the education system wasn't designed with them in mind. They were expected to sit still, read quietly, memorize theories, and solve problems on paper. But their brains don't work that way. When movement, interaction, and physical engagement were removed from the process, they were left disconnected. Over time, they lost interest. Not because they couldn't learn, but because what they were being taught didn't connect to how they think. So yes, many ended up in labor-based or hands-on jobs. But not because they were incapable, because those environments allowed them to use their natural strengths. They could build, fix, lead, lift, create. Not in theory but in action. Now imagine if they had access to learning tools that matched their style. Let's say a student struggles with written history. Let them listen to a podcast while they're moving, working, or exercising. Let them watch a short video or dramatized reenactment rather than reading a chapter. Give them a touchscreen app that lets them interact with timelines, battles, or maps. Something they can touch and move, not just look at. For math or science, let them use measuring tools, small building kits, or simulations to understand abstract concepts. Introduce them to online platforms that use visual and tactile learning, like drag-and-drop problem-solving, or step-by-step video guides they can follow with their hands. Video camera replace passive reading with YouTube-style lessons that explain through examples, demonstrations, and real-life applications. Even something as simple as letting them use a stylus and tablet instead of pen and paper can make a difference. It feels more interactive, more direct, and more in sync with how they process the world. These tools aren't luxuries. For an elementary hand learner, they are the difference between being left behind and being fully engaged. They were never slow or incapable. They were just taught in the wrong language. When we shift the method, not the student, we unlock a kind of intelligence that's rooted in action, rhythm, and instinct. And when learning finally fits who they are, it stops being a struggle. It becomes natural, enjoyable, and powerful.